Hello, good evening, Ingrid. How you doing today? Hello.
Hello, teacher. Can you hear me?
Yes, now, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, Ingrid, today
Okay,
we're gonna continue. We're gonna continue talking about some topics related to the elaboration of tissue materials, okay? So in these sessions,
Mhm.
okay, this is the same introduction that we have from the course. And then for this session, these are gonna be the topics that we're gonna discuss, okay? The importance of teaching and learning materials, the classification of teaching materials. As you know, we have different types, right? So we're gonna see each of them and the authentic teaching materials, okay? Our objective for this session, so we have to develop, right, the students' ability to design and implement effective lesson plans by integrating diverse types of educational materials that enhance engagement, critical thinking, and language skills in complex teaching scenarios. As you see here, um, we're gonna talk about lesson plans as well, right? Co- Why? Because
Okay.
this class it's related to didactics, okay? Didactics one and didactics two, okay? That it's my understanding that you already taken, right?
Mm, to be honest, no, teacher.
No, really?
No. Yeah.
Yeah, but the most important thing here is that this is not new for you because you are an English teacher and you got experience about it, right?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, we're gonna start with the importance of teaching material, and we have some key points here that I would like to discuss with you. As you know, and we were talking in the previous session, we said that educational materials are essential for meaningful learning, especially because we have different types of learning on students. And one of the key points that I would like to see here is because they facilitate contextualized learning. So, what do you understand for that?
Contextualize.
Hmm.
You say that?
Yes.
Um, because we show the context, the context that we are teaching through materials, right?
Hmm. Yeah. And you know that we say this because you know that a student can understand the concepts better than they are presented, right? In a relevant and visually context, right? So contextualized learning, it could be that those materials that are appealing to the context, right? Good. Let's see another one. Um, Teaching materials promote motivation. What do you think?
That's true, teacher. That's true because, for example, when I was a student, I remember that the teacher all the time was just writing on the whiteboard, and that was so frustrated because we didn't speak anything in English. We didn't listen anything in English. Just
Writing
writing,
and
reading,
writing.
and that's yeah, writing and
So
writing. To
boring.
be honest, that was stressful for all the students.
Yeah, yeah. Um, uh,
And
yeah,
when
yeah,
teachers use different material, it's more interesting. Be at class.
yeah. We say that tissue materials, we say that promote motivation, especially when the materials are interactive, right? For example,
Right.
games, videos, or some interested topics by a student to develop a speaking skills, especially, right?
Yeah.
And you know that when we say motivation, we have to we have to different. two two types of motivation, right? Especially the most common, and we have the extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. You got some idea about it?
No, any idea?
Okay, let me explain to you. The extrinsic motivation, it's that such motivation that you are motivated, but another one, but you are expecting at the end to receive a regard. Okay, that is that makes
No,
sense.
teacher.
You understand what I meant?
No, I'm sorry because my internet is low. I couldn't hear you very well. Could you
Okay,
repeat that, please?
yeah,
Sorry.
of course, of course. So I was telling you that the most two common types of motivation that we have and we can implement in the classroom are extrinsic motivation and intrinsic motivation. So the extrinsic motivation is when you are motivated by someone, but at the end you are expected to receive a regard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Uh-huh. That's intrinsic. Intrinsic.
No, extrinsic,
Intrinsic.
extrinsic.
Extrinsic.
Yeah, intrinsic
Uh-huh.
is when you are motivated by your
Extrinsic.
own.
Uh,
Okay, for example, I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, let's suppose that you are a demanding student, right, in your major. So you say, this year and this term, it's the last one of my major. Okay, I'm gonna be the best student here. I don't want to get 90%. I don't want to get 80%. The only percentage that I want to is 100%. So I'm going to be the number one. You understand what I mean? So you are motivated by your own, okay? And at the end, you feel satisfied, but you are not expecting to receive something from another person. That makes sense? So you quite understood that part or not? Okay, let's continue with the next one that we have, and we say that they improve information retention. What do you think about it? So what do you think that the teaching materials improve information retention? You know why? Well, let me explain to you. You know that research shows that people remember information better when they accompanied by visual or manipulative resources, right? So it can be much easier for them to remember something that they researched before when the teacher is using visual materials. Okay. Let's see next. So we have they adapt to different learning styles. So what do you understand for that? What do you think that teaching materials can be adapted to different learning styles? What do you think about it? So Ingrid, when we say that teaching materials adapt, they are adapted to different learning styles. So as you know, that visual materials benefit, right? Visual learners, auditory resources help those who learned by listening. Remember that, as I told you in the previous session, that when you are in the classroom, we have different learning styles. At the end, we have to implement different strategy to achieve our goals, okay? And another types of material that we can use here, and they are the ideal for kinesthetic learners, are the manipulative materials, okay? So let's continue with the next one that we have, why teaching materials are so important, okay? Okay, and we have that they foster autonomy. So what do you think? Why we say that teaching materials foster autonomy?
Autonomy.
Yes.
I the first it's the first time that I hear that.
You know, as you know that there are some materials like, as I told at the beginning, like videos or application like Duolingo allowed students to practice independently, right?
Right.
Even outside the classroom. So what does it mean? They are fostering autonomy in students, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Now
yeah.
you
Now
understand
I
what I
got
mean?
it. Yes, now I understand.
Okay, good. Let's move on to. Okay, now let's see the classification of teaching materials. We have different types of classification, okay? So here we have the visual materials, auditory materials, and audiovisual materials. Some of them can be the same one. It doesn't matter if you say they are auditory or they are audiovisual. If we can find in both, so that's correct, okay? But
Hmm.
first, I would like to know that what do you understand? How would you define the visual materials?
Mm. The materials that the students can see or can watch
Mm-hmm. Okay, good.
or even touch. I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Can you read that the definition that we have there?
Of course. Okay, tools that really or
Rely.
rely on visual elements to represent information, making it easier to understand and remember. Mhm.
Yes, and some
Perfect.
examples that we have in the visual materials, we have diagrams, even we have a math mapping, we have educational posters, we have infographic, flashcards. So they are visual materials, right? And they
Right.
are so important because remember that through this kind of material, we can represent some information that can be much easier to understand and to retain on students' memory, right?
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and what about the auditory materials? So, what does auditory materials stand for?
Some audios, for example, about the topic that we are teaching.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you read the definition there, please?
Research says that rely on sound to convey information or practice language skills.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Good. And let's see some examples. So, in this case, as you said, we have podcasts, audiobooks, sounds, recorded speeches. I don't know if you have experienced with your students. Um, with podcasts or audiobooks? Because it's my understanding that you work with books, right?
Yeah. Uh, to be honest, we don't use podcasts yet because I have just first, second, and third level now. I have students from first grade to fifth grade now. but for the reason just we are using audiobooks in songs,
Mm-hmm.
no the rest of
Okay.
auditory materials.
Okay. Excellent. Good. Good. And what about the audiovisual materials? What are they
Mm,
for you?
what is the definition?
Yeah.
No sé, maybe when we use movies or cartoons in English to show students when some grammar terms are used.
Mhm. Remember that this one can be a combination with the first one, visual, right?
Mm-hmm,
Because the first one is only visual, and this one include audio and visual at the same time, right?
mm-hmm.
So let's see the definition that I brought for you. Can you read, please?
Media combining.
Combining media, combining.
Combining. Media combining both visual and auditory elements for a multi-sensory learning experience.
Yeah. So let's see now. Let's see some examples that we have. We have the documentaries, videos, animations, interactive presentations. It's so important. At a certain point, so important when you're gonna use interactive presentation to include audio, right?
Yeah.
Let's continue with the with other types of educational materials that we have. So we have manipulative materials. So what do you understand by?
Manipulative.
Uh-huh.
Maybe a doll. It could be a doll, for example, if I'm teaching toys, as I was telling you before.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. Okay. Let's see the definition. Can you read, please?
Physical objects that students can interact with to support hands-on learning.
Yes. Here it's so important. There is a technique. I don't know if you have implemented in the classroom that is called Realia.
Not yet.
Not yet, but you know what
I,
Realia is, right?
no, no, not yet. Right.
Realia, yeah, Realia. For example, if you're working with kids and you're working with toys, just you know, just for
Yeah.
introducing vocabulary. So you say, okay, I'm going to implement the technique of Realia. Okay, what does it mean? That you can bring sometimes some physically toys to the classroom, and
Mm-hmm.
you can manipulate them, okay, with the student, show
Mm-hmm.
them the real toy that you got on your hand, right? it's not
Right.
it's not through a picture, it's not through your cell phone. No, you got the toy on your hands. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
that we say physical objects. So and
Okay.
when you show physical objects on in the classroom, they are called realia. That's the technique, okay?
Okay. Realia.
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 Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see some examples. As well, we have flashcards because you know that they are physics, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have puzzles, 3D models, and board games. I think that
Mm-hmm.
board games is the more common, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What about the printed materials?
Printed. Or the materials that
Yeah.
we always maybe use when we provide students worksheets. No sé, if
Yeah.
that's printed
Can.
materials.
Yeah. It can be a workbook.
Mm-hmm.
The same word says, right? Printed. So that we have there's a text-based resources designed to present or practice knowledge. For example, we have textbooks, guides, as you said, worksheets as well, newspapers, brochures, etc. Right? So, what
Mm-hmm.
about digital materials?
Apps,
Yeah.
uh, games online.
hmm What about if I tell you that one of the digital materials that you as a student from Univalle is the platform. That makes
Yeah, the
sense?
platform. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
good.
I
So,
forgot it.
so nah, don't worry. So we have the definition here that digital materials are resources delivered through electronic platforms, often interactive and adaptable to various learning needs. Let's see some examples. As you said at the beginning, apps, ebooks, online platforms, for example, the platforms that the university has, and language simulators. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. So here, what do you understand by authentic materials?
Mm, it's that material or those materials are used when we want to show students that we can apply the topic that we are teaching in the real life. For example, if I'm teaching simple
Hmm.
present, I'm gonna show them that simple present is using conversation. Maybe it could be in a movie or a series,
Yeah.
as like Friends or animation or cartoon.
Yeah, yeah, you stuck to the point, right? So we have here, and we said, someone said that authentic materials are not designed for pedagogical purposes, but they represent real language, as I said before, and context used by native speakers. These materials include menus, news articles, and even, as you said, role plays, okay, conversations, advertisements, sound movies, blogs, social media content, and more. So, but this they are gonna be adapted according to the context, okay?
Mm.
And
Yes, but I got a question.
yes,
I- Okay, but authentic materials are used by native speakers.
no, no native speaker, but here it says native speaker. But remember that this is a definition of an expert, okay?
Okay.
But that can be used both. But at the end, remember that you are a native speaker of Spanish, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see
That's true.
let's see the importance of authentic materials. So we have why we say connection to real life. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I'm agree with that.
Yeah, you know because that they help a student relay their meaning, right, to
Yeah.
everyday situations, as you said before. Okay, let's see another important keywords about the importance of authentic materials. And we say that they are exposure to real language, right?
Yeah.
Why exposure to real language? Because as you know, when you're teaching, you're introducing idiomatic expressions. Even you can introduce slang, jargons, especially if you want to work on some role plays to develop speaking, right? And grammar, okay, and grammar as well.
Hmm.
So another key point that we have, development of critical skills. What do you think?
Mm, that help students to um excuse me, to know that English is useful, not just on the books that we provide them.
Yes, that's right, because you know that they are required to analyze, right?
Yeah.
So they are required to infer and understand rather than memorizing artificial rules. Okay. So
Yeah.
for example, if you're gonna design a test and you say, okay, what do you understand by simple present? So you are not expecting that the student gonna answer in the same way using the same words, the same context as the book shows, right?
Right.
So you're gonna evaluate what a student understood by their own. That makes sense, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, let's see another one. Cultural understanding. What do you think?
That's important
Hmm.
because, for example, when I was learning at the academy, because I was a student there
Yeah.
as well, they never touched me about the English culture.
Yeah.
I didn't know nothing about, for example, Halloween or Thanksgiving.
Hmm.
Yeah, but even now they are not teaching that, and that's for me it's terrible because students that are learning English have to know about
Hmm.
that culture
Yeah.
that that country has.
Yes, yes. That's why that we say that cultural understanding. That's one of why we say that authentic materials are so important, because at the end, remember, as you said, that they foster, right? I would say a little appreciation of the traditions, as you mentioned before, right? Even values as well,
Yeah,
and customs, right?
yeah.
Okay, good. Let's continue. Let's move on with next one that we've got here. And really? Okay. Okay. Listen. This try to analyze the picture that we have there, and tell me what kind of materials is this.
Visual material.
Yes, they are. It is a visual material, but inside of the visual materials, we have some examples. So, what is the example of this? What example is this? I- Is it a podcast? No, it isn't, right?
No, no, I don't know if
It is
that
a
is
poster.
no.
It is an educational poster. It is an infographic.
It
So, what do
could
you
be
think? Maybe.
maybe realized material because I'm
Yeah, it could be an infographic, right? It could be,
infographic.
yeah, infographic. And at the end, the infographic, it's one of the audiovisual materials, right? That is one of the examples, right? That we got inside of that those classifications. So what advantages does this material have in the English learning? What do you think that when the teacher use infographics, what do you think they are? What are the advantages that we can have in the English learning?
Um, when we use infographic material,
Hmm.
um, one of the advantages is that when we are teaching some vocabulary, students are able to remember the picture that we are teaching in the same time that we are teaching them the pronunciation of that vocabulary. So it's easier for them remember the picture with the pronunciation of the word. That
Yes.
is an advantage.
Yeah. Another advantages that I would say that this kind of educational materials facilitated visual learning, right, of the student, and help to the student to synthesize some complex information. Remember that in English, and even whatever subject, or even in Spanish, there are some topics that there are a lot of information that at the end you need to synthesize, right? You need to summarize the key points, the main ideas of that one, and you can do it through one of these materials, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see the third question. What skills do you think that can be developed utilizing such material?
Speaking,
It's speaking, good.
reading, writing.
Yeah.
I don't know if listening as well. No sé.
So
I have doubt.
if I tell you that a student can acquire vocabulary, can learn vocabulary through this, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I'm agree with that.
Okay, good. So you got some questions so far?
No, no, no,
No? E-
no.
e- Everything's clear at Solo Translate?
Yeah.